Yeah, Mike, is there any update on Khalil Ware's status for this weekend's game, and did he practice at all this week?
He was on the floor a little yesterday. He did some warm-up drills with us. Nothing where he's had contact where he has to cut and and block out and block shots, things of that nature. No, he just basically did some endurance stuff on the floor with us doing our warm-up. So I'll get a better feel today once we get down there and see where he is today.
Alex and Zach Osterman.
Given how important Xavier's kind of been to your team since you got here, and we've seen him play at a really high level. I know he struggled in I think 5 of the 6 games since he's been back, but this week he's had off. Have you seen maybe some improvement from him in terms of what he's able to do on the floor, and just maybe is there anything you can do from a mindset perspective to try to help him get back to being that effective player that we saw at earlier times?
Well, I totally agree with you there. We got to get him back. When you go around the Big Ten and you look at all the teams and, the perimeter play, the point guards are really playing extremely well. And, X, make no mistake about it, in the first year, us making it to the tournament along with Trace and that supporting Cavs, X had a lot to do with that. And, since his injuries, he's been up and down, man. He's been soul searching, trying to find himself, man. And, I'm frustrated, and not in a bad way, meaning for him, because, this is his last go around, man. He doesn't get an opportunity to come back to college and play basketball again. And what he's gone through in the last really year and a half has been tough. So, he's had a few good days of practice, and I'm just going to keep encouraging him and hopefully we'll get the old X back, because we're going to need him as we continue this journey throughout the Big Ten.
Second, Tom.
Mike, when you talk about just X, and I guess the term you use is soul searching, is that easier for an older guy? Is it more difficult when, maybe he wouldn't have necessarily obviously expected some of the obstacles he's had the last year and a half with the injuries? Is it easier because he's got more experience and more maturity, or is it maybe sometimes more difficult in some ways with a guy that, it's just kind of kept having to hit reset when maybe he thought, this is my last this, or this is my last, I don't know, senior day, whatever.
Even though he's been in the college game, when you haven't experienced injuries, because I went through that, my senior year, it's deflating, man. I mean, mentally, it crushes you. And, all I can think back to, what I went through to get back, I was crushed, because, I mean, how the hell can something like this happen your last year? And you don't even know if you're ever going to play again based on what the doctors are telling you. And, I don't know if his wasn't that severe. I mean, he broke his foot. And then he had the problems again this year. Sorry, guys. Terry, got to call you back. I'm on Zoom. Bye. That he's, mentally it's been probably tough on him, man. And, I'm the only one, along with his family and friends, can probably help him get out of this rut, man, because he has had his ups and downs this season, man. And I feel his frustration, man. But, we still got a lot of Big Ten games left. There's a lot of room for him to get back on track. And, that's what I'm pushing and trying to push him in the right direction to get there.
Tom the Mason.
Hey, Mike, I'm curious to get your thoughts on what Malik said Friday night after the game in regards to you guys just needing to get more in sync with each other going forward. What stands out to you when he says something like that? either offensively or defensively or both, as to what just needs to be better for this group to be more in sync?
Well, again, I mean, we weren't expecting to go into the Wisconsin game without our big guy. And, having X still trying to find his way, we're soul searching as a team. I mean, make no mistake about it, we were missing, 14 and nine rebounds in the big guy and a guy that can block shots. We scored enough points. We shot the hell out of the basketball from, the free throw line, the 3-point line, and shooting twos. But our defense stunk. I mean, you're not gonna be anybody giving up 91 points like that in the Big Ten. I mean, it's tough enough to win on the road, but you go out on the road with just an offensive mentality, you stand to lose. You got to go out on the road with a defensive mentality and rebound the ball to keep the game intact. And I don't think we did a good job in that. That's on me. I got to get us playing defense, and I just didn't think we were defensively ready to play. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. And the miscues and the scouting report, I thought we came out with great intentions, started the game out great, but as the game went along, we lost our way defensively.
Mason, then Mike.
Coach, kind of going back to the guard play a little bit, Friday, you mentioned that you were liking what you were seeing from your front court options, but you still needed to get some more from the guard play consistently. Having this week off of practice and having some chance to evaluate, have you seen the response that you've wanted from that group of guys?
Well, again, only time will tell. I mean, practice is what it is. We've had some tough days of practice, which, we should, I mean, that's the only way you're going to work your way out of this. And only time will tell. We're going to be tested at Illinois. There's no doubt about it. I watched them play last night, and it was a very competitive ball game on both ends with both teams. I mean, it was a high-power game, which was kind of nice to see, and so we got to go in with the mindset we got to try to play at that same level, because that team Illinois is playing very, very, very well right now. They lost a tough game in overtime, but they were right there, had a shot to win it before it went to overtime. So, we got to be ready to commit ourselves for 40 minutes.
Mike, then Daniel.
Yeah, Coach, speaking of Illinois, watching them since they got Shannon back, they seem to like to go to a smaller lineup. They've got shooters kind of in all spots. When you guys are going with your bigger lineup, what is going to be the key to defending what they're trying to do offensively right now?
Well, the big challenge is that, we got to make sure we get our bigs back in transition, because they're pushing every opportunity they get. And, it's not going to matter who's guarding who. You just got to make sure we get the ball stopped and we got a body on a body. I mean, and there's going to be times big fella might be playing, one of their smaller guys. I mean, that's just the nature of how they play. And, we got to take advantage of, our size a little bit too inside and see how they play us. So they're a different team, more different than we've played any team in college basketball this season, the way they play. And they basically are playing small ball with the Hawkins at the 5. And, they bring the big fella in sparingly, but that's pretty much what you're going to get a dose of is small basketball.
Daniel, and then we'll wrap with Alec.
Yeah, Coach. After Louisville, I think it was, you mentioned with Mbako just some of the expectations that he had on him, and obviously kind of started a little bit slow. I think he scored at least 10 points now in 12 of the 14 that have followed that Louisville game. What do you make of his evolution as a player and then also off the court in the last few months?
Well, he's been great, man. I mean, I have no complaints. He's a freshman that, came in with high accolades and but AAU and high school basketball is not the same as college basketball in the Big Ten. It's just not. So there's a learning curve for all these young players when they come to the next level. And, he had his struggles, but he's continued to work and we're trying to push him to play at a high level. He still has a ways to go though. I mean, from a defensive standpoint, there's times out there that he's not understanding what we're doing and he looks kind of lost and out of place. And, those are things that are correctable as he continues to grow as a young player. I mean, but I'm pretty pleased with his progress and where he is today. You just got to keep working.
Alec, last one.
Hey, Coach. Gabe Cupps has obviously received a lot of nice praise, not only from you, but also most of his teammates throughout the course of this season. How have you seen him progress as a player from when he stepped on campus this summer to now? And what's really the next step in his progression to not only help you guys get to where you need to be this year, but obviously moving forward in years beyond?
Well, he's been steady because he's been taught the right way. It's, when you go through high school, and I'm not knocking any coaches or anything like that, some get it and some don't get it. And he got it. His dad did a hell of a job with him in terms of, steering him in the right direction and how to play the right way. That's why he doesn't look out of place. And, there's a lot of room for growth. And the growth is he's going to have to be able to make shots. And he's going to have to be able to run pick and rolls where he can find the spots where the ball needs to go. Defensively, he's been fine in that regard. He picks things up, fairly quickly. But, those are the things, coming down as a sophomore, junior, and senior, those are areas where he's got to grow even more. And I think eventually he will. He'll get there.
All right. Thanks, Coach.